Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're taking a look at Voice of Cards, the Forsaken Maiden on the Nintendo Switch. Now this is a follow-up to last year's The Isle Dragon Roars, and it comes from the creator of Nier, but how does this follow-up stand up just a few months after that release of the original entry? Well, hit subscribe and join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals weekly, and let's get started. So story, and while there's nods to that first game, this is completely standalone and there's no need for experience with the Isle Dragon Roars. Think here new cast, new plot points, same world, and yeah, occasionally that kind of reference. Setting itself though in a remote chain of islands, this world is protected here by maidens. Everything from overseeing the people to defeating evil. Now the problem, your home has no maiden, people are kind of, let's say, giving up, and to continue to thrive and survive, you absolutely need one. You have, however, befriended a girl by the name of Laty. She failed to become a maiden, and now is voiceless. Set out though, uncover her history, and meet the maidens of the surrounding islands who may be able to help Laty become the maiden she was destined to be. Really good stuff though, given that almost tabletop design. It actually relies on its story, its writing, and it does not disappoint as you explore this world. It kind of adds a lot of, context to what is occurring around you. You'll be meeting the maidens, uncovering a number of, let's say, side quest challenges and just, what's happening in this world. And yeah, from beginning to end, the whole narrator delivery, it had me hooked, and I actually think I preferred the story in this one over the original. So gameplay on this is heavily influenced by the tabletop RPG world. It relies on its narrator and writing over epic cutscenes, flashy graphics, or anything else. The world, it can be described as a collection of face-down cards that with movement reveal the landscape that you do traverse. That exploration, then, it makes up the majority of gameplay alongside JRPG-style turn-based combats. The exploration though I really enjoyed. I thought the world was fascinating, and it gives you a ship to go explore these other islands. You can set out and sail to them. It leads to a ton of options though in the direction you are going, and yes, the game always tells you what to do next, but a sign of a good, almost non-linear design is you have this urge to kind of go off the beaten track and explore for yourself. It's absolutely worth it too, because it's not just a randomly generated battles this world, but you'll have the option to speak to locals who inhabit this world. You'll find secrets, treasure, small hidden away locations, and then there's a ton of cities to visit as well. I think standalone locations, not even necessarily for the main storyline, these are packed with stores, your home, or even inns. Exploring these stores, the inns as well, absolutely worth it, because each battle or even in exploration you are rewarded with cash. Now here, homes or inns, these allow you to rest and recover your health. Stores, think armories to upgrade that defense. Weapon stores, the title kind of tells you everything you need to know there. Then there's going to be item stores and accessories. Accessories kind of provide buffers, think like rings. Items, these can be anything from reviving a fallen team member to health packs to items that remove status effects during battle. As this world reveals itself with movement, then the narrator adds context, not only explaining what is happening around you, but also introducing you to what the game calls events. These can be everything from surprise attacks to secrets that may lie just out of sight, to even something, let's say, jumping out of the water as you sail. You'll need to kind of decide on a response. Do you attack it before it lands, or try to catch whatever the item is? I wish there was a little bit more in the way of variety in these moments. Honestly, they kind of loop pretty quickly, but that is for sure a minor complaint. This entry as well, I actually played the first at release. I believe this was patched in at a later date, but it actually includes a high-speed mode, and while this won't impact combat or dialogue moments, it's still appreciated because it makes movement, feel so much more urgent. I had it on from the very beginning to end, and it didn't take anything away from the experience at all as you move your avatar piece around this world map. Through the world map, then, you can also expect the occasional puzzle as you go on this hunt for maidens to help you out. For the most part, these are relatively simplistic, matching symbols and the like, but there was one towards the latter half of the game that really had me stumped. This one embraces the idea of stealth, avoiding guards, and it for sure had me walking away for just a moment. Nice little kind of detour in the gameplay style though, for sure, and I definitely kind of enjoyed what they did there. I'd like to see more of that in the future. The combat then, like the first, it is turn-based, and 95% of this journey, it's extremely simplistic. Rarely did I feel like I was outmatched and needed to grind my level. The only moment where it was an issue, kind of poor team management by myself. I'd head into a boss battle with already low health and be in bad shape immediately. As you do battle though, you can expect to level up and earn new rewards in the form of cards to play. You see, yes, it is a turn-based game, but it's presented in a visual style of a deck-based format. Managing your team though, your equipped skills, your cards, and even the items you carry, that will be imperative come the end game. The combat, it is traditional though, think like a lot of elemental attacks in here, but still extremely enjoyable. Your character in these moments as well, then you'll be managing not only level but the weapon in hand, armor which impacts defense, the accessories which handle buffers, and on the left of the screen you'll see almost gems. These are essentially action points, and different cards cost a different amount, and it rewards you with one per turn. So it's almost this strategy of, do I use the gems now and play a hard hitting card, or do I wait later for another character? This entry then also introduces the concept of joint moves, meaning specific characters can attack together once the card is equipped. You'll be carrying in total a deck of 5, and this can be everything from standard attacks to magic to health and support cards to skipping a turn and reaping in the benefits of morphing action points in the future. This all said though, honestly the combat is still kind of weak in the sense there was only maybe a couple of moments where I felt it truly challenged me. For the most part, enemies, they are an absolute breeze and will rarely basically slow you down. It would desperately benefit from a difficulty selection to give not only a reason to replay but something to, deliver on a sense of reward and overcoming the odds. Other problems then, the random battles, they can get a little bit overwhelming constantly, think they're occurring here every 3 to 4 steps in certain dungeons. You'll kind of feel that burnout as you try to simply move your way forward, and yeah, it definitely goes a little bit over the top. Likewise, some enemies, it's easy as I said 95% of the time, then all of a sudden you'll come across one that feels just a little bit too unbalanced with near full health revival in a single turn, as well as nearly crushing your entire health bar. Another good option though I do want to point out here for bypassing battles is the fact you can fast travel essentially to any card that is facing up, meaning you've stepped there before. You only need to move through the world once and then you can do this at any point. It gives you a whole lot more freedom. Finally, some characters, they are temporary to your team and they can't be leveled up or modified with skills, and that's kind of a little bit disappointing. It takes away that sense of party management and development. Overall though, for gameplay, honestly, sure, a few minor balance issues occasionally and a little bit too heavy on, that random battle system, but I'm impressed. I loved the first entry for its gameplay and I can confidently echo that same feeling for this new entry. Graphics then, and it's a stunning looking game. It's not overly detailed given the card deck theme, but the artwork on display, it's stunning from each location that has a nice amount of variety to our characters directly in their models. Likewise, I love the attack animations in battle as cards go flying all over the place, reflecting, let's say, the swing of a sword. Also, there's a few modifiers in here. Think the top of the table and how it looks, how the back of the cards look. There's even some cosmetics in here, both included with the game or also as paid DLC. The game also does a better job personally of simply adding variety to each location. There's some particularly impressive moments when the world turns black and white as well. Problems for visuals? Very few, honestly. It's very much more the same, but I adored what they did the first time around and I'm really excited now to see where they go next. It even then packs options like turning off shadows, which is the one area where I identified a bit of pixelation given their almost 3D effects. Audio finally, and the sound effects first off are seriously high quality, accompanying the environment and weapons, and then the music, it is stunning. I'd be disappointed if this soundtrack did not receive a physical release because while it can be, I'd call it a little bit more somber than let's say some in the genre, that's not a bad thing as it plays with the emotion of our characters and what occurs around us. It definitely builds up the story. It's not energetic, but it is beautiful. Then the voice acting, a single narrator as was the case with the first entry, top quality stuff again. Now it's a little bit less dramatic than that first go around, a little less, well, let's say like fantasy, but I still really enjoyed the work and their kind of ability to bring this world to life, whether it was the smaller jokes here and there to the intense and dramatic, you know, let's say events that were occurring around you. The set pieces are very much described, and they definitely do a really good job of conveying what's happening. So the final verdict, and I was a big fan of the first game, and I'm happy to say here with a quick turnaround of this follow-up, I still feel very much the same. The storytelling on display is just exceptional, and it captures not only a sense of adventure, but emotion as well. If anything, I actually found this cast to be a little bit more likeable. It's also then bringing some nice tweaks, some fun stealth moments, a larger variety in the environments, and new actions. Think those giant combo cards, even the faster movement from day one, you don't know how appreciated that is. The problems though, very similar to what we've always had, meaning it's too easy, it needs difficulty options in my opinion, and then it is shorter than most RPGs out there. Realistically, it took me, I'd say just north of 10 hours to wrap up. Again though, like the first, nothing else out there quite like it. A great 8 out of 10 from me today, and I truly believe with this series they are onto something special. But if we do see a third entry now, I want to see them tackle the difficulty curve, give me not only a good story but that sense of accomplishment over a more, more challenging scenario, and not simply the occasional spike. Will you be adding this one to the library then, or are you hoarding onto that cash? A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.